Warren Manuel last night said this: teams advancing to their conference championship game means a lot of value and is a valuable data point. Okay. What about winning or losing it?
They're already setting that up.
So, that's because that was Sankey's thing of hey, gold star for making it, but it shouldn't matter if they lose. I think if there's a 3-loss team in this thing, we revolt.
Hold on, though, on that. If that would have been the case or what was being posed the year TCU made the playoff, then would have that – no, because that would have been still 4 teams. I was saying how – because K-State beat them. So that would that – I don't know. Never mind. I'm just getting confused on all that. Yeah. I just think at some point we're going to get rid of the conference championship games. I think they're going to have to go away. And I think you're going to have some sort of little playoff where you can actually determine who the real champion is with the unbalanced schedules. I think that's the only way you can do that going forward. But setting this up is just it's letting everybody know that if an SEC team loses their championship game, they're still getting in. But is that the thing? Is it's going to carry over for everybody? Is it going to apply across the board, or are they going to come up with another narrative that spins it where the ACC and the Big 12 or the Group of 5 don't have that same kind of bumper there?
Yeah, I that's the thing is we need to. Everything needs to be it's not fair because yes, the conferences are not equal.
No,
but I know they want to have the 12 best teams and having that highest rated Group of 5 champ in there makes it the best. That's what helps with that. But
and how long is that going to last?
Yeah, I know. It needs to. Yeah, because after this 2 years,
they're getting rid of them.
Yeah, they're especially,
let Boise go to Ohio State and whoop their ass. They're getting rid of Boise.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of the Group of 5 quick.
Well, you know what? If that does happen and then they try to do it, that's when it probably wouldn't work because it would be if Boise goes to Ohio State, Boise right now has a first-round bye, they wouldn't even host. They'd be in a bowl game. They'd be in a New Year's Six bowl game, whatever it was. They're the fourth seed right now as it stands, which is awesome. I'm all for that. I think they've certainly earned that. Especially when you compare them to, Ohio State, they have the same thing. Ohio State lost by 1 less point.
Yeah.
So, or 2 less point, it was a 1-score game and it was a field goal game in either one of them. So, if they would if somebody goes and plays Boise State and if they do keep to that first round bye, if somebody goes and plays them in the Fiesta Bowl or whatever and loses, then it's going to be a lot harder for Greg Sankey or Tony Petit to be well, these teams don't deserve to be in it. And be oh, that's real funny.
Yep.
Considering that, their first rattle out of the box, they beat your ass.
Yep.
So, but the next round we beat them. Yeah, but the first round you didn't. And especially if Boise doesn't get the bye and wins 2 games.
Yeah.
Hey now. So, yeah, I mean, that will, of course, I guess winning 2 games would put them in the championship, right? So.
I don't know. I think they have to win more than that. To get
3 games. Yeah, but so win a game.
Yeah, they're going to have to win 3.
Yeah, but if you win 2 games and you're in the semifinals, all right, let's go. And yeah, that's this year. If they won 2 games, they'd be in the finals.
Yeah,
if it stays this way, right? Because they have the bye currently. So yeah, I mean, I don't buy in. Everything you hear is just a narrative for everybody's conference, and the ones who actually have the legitimate narratives are the ones who are going to get left out. Because Penn State's going to get in.
Yes,
they're going to get in, and they're not going to be in the championship game. And, Indiana's going to get in, or Ohio State's going to get in, and one of them won't be in the championship game. Okay, well, Ohio State, let's just look at Ohio State's schedule this year. All right, so they played Oregon.
Yep.
And they played Penn State. and they play Indiana. So that is a justifiable schedule to get in if their losses are a 1-point loss to the number 1 team in the country
on the road,
and then a close loss to the number 5 team in the country. Okay, compare that to the SEC teams that are 10-2. That's a fine resume. Penn State's schedule at 1 loss. I mean, there's no one.
No,
there's no one on that schedule that justifies them, being in this thing.
So have they only played one ranked team? Was it, I guess, Ohio State?
Well, no. Illinois was ranked when they played them.
Okay, but then there goes that.
And then ranked right now or going to be ranked at the end of the year, Ohio State's the only team that's going to be ranked at the end of the year.
Yeah, and Illinois is like a shell of themselves from early on, too.
So Minnesota was ranked. That's who they play this week, but they're not ranked anymore. And then Minnesota's not ranked anymore, right?
They are not. No, I'm looking at it right now.
They're not ranked anymore. And then they play Maryland. So, all right. Okay, we'll compare that to anybody else on this list schedule. It's all about the same. Mm-hmm. And so the argument about this really comes down to the middle to the bottom of every conference, which I don't think is that different. Now, the top of the SEC is better than the top of every other conference.
Without a doubt.
The top of the Big Ten is better than the top of the ACC.
Correct.
And the Big 12 is so close, I don't even know how to judge it. I think most of the teams in the Big 12 would fare well against most of the teams in the ACC. I think so. I think they're better.
Yeah.
I think the defenses are a little bit better in the Big 12 than they are in the ACC this current year. But again, the middle of the conferences, which is where you're judging the wins and losses, right? Of who's lost in the middle and the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. The middle of those 2 conferences are no different than the middle of the SEC and the Big Ten.
No.
That's my point. Like, this is, Ari Wasserman and I had a long Twitter debate.
Oh, I remember that.
And
that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago after TCU. And my point was, look, this is not about the Big 12 versus the SEC. This is about Georgia. Mm-hmm. This is about this team that's a juggernaut that is a top 10 team of all time. Right? They would, in the... If we made a 12-team playoff of all the all-time great teams of the 95 Nebraska and 2000 Miami and
2019 LSU
and 2013 FSU, those teams that had all these just chunks of NFL, 2005 Texas, 2004 USC, if you put those in there, Jimmy Johnson's Miami team, if you put all those teams in there that were the greatest of all time. Those top 12, that Georgia team would hang with almost every one of them. They were unbelievable. I mean, pick a couple of Nick Saban's Alabama teams in the 12 too, right? Mm-hmm. So pick those. But to say that it's about that league, I know.
It's not. It's all been skewed because of 1 or 2 teams going on runs. It's changed the narrative completely. To me, the Big 12's problem is when you talk about that and you talk about the SEC being top heavy, you talk about the top of the Big 10, the Big 12's problem and why they find themselves in this is because they don't have any top teams. They're a conference made of mid-tier teams. So they don't get the same respect because I think the only way the Big 12 is going to get some sort of respect or anything going forward is you need Deion to make Colorado a juggernaut because Deion's going to get the stars. He's got the eyeballs. You need Avery Johnson to emerge as a superstar if you're K-State and to build around him. You need that. Outside of that, you're not going to get anybody. You're not going to get anybody to want to watch you. It's unfortunate. That's just the way it is. It just sucks, man. But I think that's the difference. The Big 12's got to find a way to market itself or have Colorado become a juggernaut somehow.
Well, look, Brent Yormark has always said it's about the next TV contract because I think he can see this too, that things are going to change. Mm-hmm. Things are going to be really different in the future because of all the changes. And so if we can just judge it through the prism of the now as opposed to the past, then that's going to be better for the Big 12 and for the ACC and for literally everybody else. Yeah. Except the SEC and the Big 10. What the SEC and the Big 10 are very clearly trying to do is head that off of the pass because everything is cyclical.
Yeah. And they're also trying to do the scheduling thing. So when all of their teams come out in the AP poll to start the season and they're all ranked in the top 25 and then they play each other, then that's their strength of schedule going forward. And that leaves the Big 12 and the ACC with like no quote unquote high ranked matchups to reflect on in the preseason.
If the Big 10 and SEC do a scheduling partnership, there's no way that outside of the traditional super rivalries, like, Georgia and Georgia Tech or something like that where they play cross conference, that they can get rid of, but you're going to suffer the same fate as A&M and Texas did for 13 years. Until you fix that problem, then your fans will be mad about it. Yeah. No matter what any A&M or Texas fans say, and
they want to play.
The proof is in the pudding with how many tickets have been bought for this game and how much they're going to be and how fast it sold out. Like it's like the Eras tour.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they could play the game like every day for a week and they would sell it out every day for a week.
Yes.
There'd be people with bracelets and, like, gosh, I hope they run that play that they ran on Wednesday again. Oh, when she did Bad Blood on Sunday, it was the best. Like that's what it would be. And so they can pretend. So like if you take away Florida and Florida State, all right, you don't want to do that.
No.
Like you need the rivalries. The rivalries are what's going to feed the television. And I do see some of them coming back in the non-conference after a couple years when they're like, hey, Texas, we appreciate that you play Ohio State and Notre Dame and whoever, but we really need you to go play one of the team in Texas. A&M, please, go play Tech again. It's going to happen because they know.
So?
I think they're going to. I think they'll ask for more of those things.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe not, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. So, but they like some of the rivalries that have gone away, that are like big rivalries. The one I see that would have to come back is Bedlam.
Yeah,
like
because
Bedlam's going to have to come back.
State. Yeah,
because what they're going to find is Oklahoma's going to be just like A&M in the SEC in that they left their rival behind.
Yeah.
Now, and the thing is they've already left one rival behind in Nebraska. So they either make a scheduling partnership with the Big Ten, which is, they're going to make a scheduling.
That would make sense.
But Oklahoma and Nebraska has to happen.
Yeah,
if you're going to make that scheduling partnership, that needs to be a permanent rivalry.
I think they're probably looking at that. That's exactly what they're going to do.
You need to replace, like, Oklahoma has one legit rival on their schedule, and that's Texas. A&M, they have
two or three.
They have two or three. Texas, LSU, Arkansas. I mean, those are three legit rivals. And then they get they've got a subsection of another one with Oklahoma, who they only beat a couple times.
Yeah.
But that was an old Big 12 one, so there's some history there. But again, that's not going to happen that much. But Texas, Arkansas, and LSU will happen pretty much all the time.
Probably.
Especially when they figure out the new scheduling and who the protected rivals are and all that. And even if they add more teams down the line. So, yeah, I absolutely think that those things are going to happen. I think you have to get some of those back because Oklahoma, outside of going to Bedlam, they played Missouri for a long time.
But they don't have no history.
Not I never once heard a Missouri or Oklahoma fan in the 13 years that they were apart go, man, I missed that game.
Yeah. It just doesn't happen.
No.
I mean, even the Arkansas thing, like Oklahoma, you would think that they would have some sort of history or be rivals, but
they couldn't give a crap less about each other.
They don't care.
Yeah, and then maybe that grows in the future, but we'll all probably be long dead before it's it has the weight of a Bedlam or an Oklahoma, Nebraska, which the Big 12 killed when they had it.
Yeah, imagine that.
That was just, I still to this day will be baffled by we're gonna play for 2 years and we're gonna take 2 years off of one of our best games.
Stupid. That's why they're where they're at. They've made stupid business decisions.
Yeah, that was just yes. I mean, nobody, and here's the thing, no other rivalry had to go through that.
No
of the other Big 8 rivalries had to suffer that fate. But Oklahoma, Nebraska had to take one for the team. Why?
Because Texas.
But because But because we had to set up this system that was, it's the same. Like, we're all going to play the same thing.
And look where we're at now.
And look what the SEC, who was not like, when the Big 12 happened, the SEC was no great shakes. I mean, it was just another conference. It was
just there.
But you know what they did when they expanded? Like, we're going to make sure that LSU and Florida are going to play every year because they hate each other's guts. And we're going to make sure that Alabama and Tennessee are going to play every year because they hate each other's guts. Like, we're going to make sure that
Common
happens.
Sense.
Because we're not going to be like, well, you got to play South Carolina this year, Alabama, because you haven't played them. And all, like, no, now they have a better system, but like, protect rivalries. They knew that beforehand.
Yep.
You know what? Like, when Miami came into the ACC, I promise you said, well, we're going to play Florida State and Miami every year because that's one of the only things that we've got to say, like, this is the big interconference rivalry, because there was just such a hodgepodge of teams from the Big East and the ACC coming in. And Florida State, to that point, didn't really have a conference rival because Bobby Bowden had dominated it for so long that, I mean, like, Clemson became a rival, especially when they hired Tommy. But at first, FSU, like, who was their rival from 91 until 2004?
They didn't have one. They were still kind of like that independent style. I know they were in a conference, but you know what I mean? Like, they played.
Were they rivals with North Carolina or like, again, until like the last, like the first 13, 14 years, they lost like 4 ACC games. So where's the rivalry? They were just an independent team and came and beat up on this conference that they were at that time too good for.
Yeah.
But that was their plan. They knew that. That's why they didn't go in the SEC. Like, Bobby said it.
He said it.
He said, look, it's going to be easier. We're going to get in the national championship game. And guess what?
He was right.
One of the greatest coaches of all time because of it. Like, he had that foresight. So, yeah, that's I'm on, like, that was like a side rant about Nebraska and Oklahoma. But, again, you got to give them something. And you're going to have to enhance the schedules. And they're going to try. Like, if you do that, then – Bedlam, if you do that, Bedlam's never coming back.
I don't think it is.
Because they'll do that. And I know Oklahoma State's publicly not motivated to do it. And they're like, they left, but
they're going to need it.
Bedlam needs to happen.
They're going to need it.
College football needs a Bedlam. You can't have 2 major schools in the same state that don't play each other regularly.
State, yes.
Yeah, in a small state like that.
That'd be like taking away the Iron Bowl.
Yeah. I don't like that Florida and Miami do this like 8-year rotation or whatever, your 4-year rotation.
No, they need to play every year.
I think they should play every year. Yeah. I think that UCF and USF should get to play, like, just rotate home and homes with the big 3. Mm-hmm. I do. I think it's good for the state. I think it's good for,
and it can help you with recruiting and keeping your players at home.
Yeah. I think especially, I know that they're going to try to run away from UCF. Because now UCF has power conference money, and they're in a really cool place, and they've got all these advantages, gigantic alumni and all that. The other schools are not going to want to schedule them.
No,
but you know what I would want to do if I was the AD at FSU, which I totally should be
at this point. Yeah.
I would be like, no, we're playing UCF. We're playing USF. I don't care that Jim Leavitt embarrassed us one year, and I don't care that, like, Gus, whoever the coach is going to be at UCF, has all these advantages. If they beat us, so be it. If not, I'm not scared of them. We're going to play a game in our state in a major city in Orlando, and we're going to go kick their ass in their place.
Yep.
That needs to be our attitude. And you know what? If somebody calls us up and says, hey, do you want to come play at Washington? Be like, yes, we will come to Seattle and kick your ass in your place.
Yep.
Do you know who does that really well? Texas does it really well. Notre Dame has to do it.
Yeah, they have to.
But Texas does it.
BYU used to.
Yeah,
before the conference.
And look, here's the deal. BYU still would.
They will, yeah.
There's not like somebody calls up BYU right now and says, come play a home and home.
Let's do it.
Tom Holmoe will be like, all right, let's do it. There are a lot of ADs that are like, oh, well, we've got 2041 available. How's that?
Yeah.
No, I like ADs that are like, okay, who can you kick off your schedule next year? Can you kick somebody off this year? Like, can you, like, hey, kick Charleston Southern off your schedule. We'll be there on November 23rd. Yep. How about that? We'll kick ours off. You kick yours off, and then we'll go play this game. I don't care. Let's do it.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. My apologies to the Charleston Southerns of the world, but
they understand. They know their place.
Yes. Paul Catalina, future president of the United States and Florida State athletic director simultaneously. Or maybe I'd be like the shadow athletic director, because if I was the president, I feel like I'd have enough cachet to just call up whoever was the AD and be like, hey, I would like you to do this. Mm-hmm. And then he'd be like, well, why? I mean, like,
I said,
look, I'm only going to abuse my power in this regard, is that I'm going to tell you, you do these things to make me happy because I'm the president.
Mm-hmm. I respect that. I mean, yes, that's how it should operate.
That's it. Yeah. That and finding some way to seize the Cowboys from the Jones family.
Good luck. I meant to ask you this yesterday. Did you see what the Texans tweeted out?
No.
Okay, so they had like a metal L falling from the stadium. It was beautiful. I should have sent that to you. I was hoping Royden would be here so he could talk about it, but yeah.
We can talk about it next week on Tuesday. Golly. If again, I would leave this job tomorrow, a job that I love. Mm-hmm. If I could go to each team that I love and spend 3 years helping them get it right, in my opinion.
Just like a consultant?
I need real power.
Okay.
I may not be the GM, but the GM has to do the things that I say.
Okay.
So, for example, I would love to sit in the – here's the thing I'll do with the Cowboys, and I promise you they'll be better. I want to sit in the war room on draft day, and every time they draft somebody that has a torn ACL and is not going to be able to practice day one of rookie minicamp, I'll be like, no! But they could be good down the line. You haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. No. You draft a healthy player. And if he winds up being an all-pro somewhere else, then I'm sorry. But you guys need healthy players who can help you as soon as they can.
Yep.
You can't stash them anymore. No more of this Bruce Carter, Jalen Smith. I can name like 5 other guys. Bullshit. None of that. And when the Red Sox, I go to the Red Sox, and I'd just be the Red Sox from November until the end of spring training. And then I'd pop back in around the trade deadline. And we're like, should we trade Mookie Betts? I'd be like, only for as much as you can get. And they're like, yeah, but we really don't want to sign him to that long contract. Don't care. Either sign him to the long contract or whatever team you get him from, you fleece them. You get as much as you can. It's the Herschel Walker trade. You do not trade the best right fielder in Major League Baseball, an MVP candidate every year, for Jeter Downs and Alex Verdugo. You don't do that. Bad Red Sox. Bad. And then I go to Florida State, and we win national championships in every sport. That one is probably
starting
a little
with
more.
Baseball?
But here's the thing. Starting with football. Let's not be crazy.
Okay, just making sure, because I know how much you've longed for a baseball championship.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the football program juggernaut, right? And again, this is in my fantasy. Football program juggernaut.
Okay.
Everybody fears us. Then I'm going to turn my attention to the baseball team and get us at least one College World Series.
Okay.
Doing whatever we can do to do that. Then, my side project will be the basketball teams.
Starting with the head coach gone?
Because the women's basketball team I'm cool with. I think they'll be good in the long run. And it might be just because I knew the coach when we were in college together. So maybe I'm a little bit biased because I like Brooke Wyckoff. But yes, we retire Leonard Hamilton. We give him a nice little fundraising job.
Yeah, he's your NIL guy.
We let him go out and get some NIL and get some help us, make the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center better. And so it's not maybe a Civic Center, maybe it's or we tear it down and we build like a basketball and events arena that's better.
Yeah.
Although they've done a fairly good job with it. But we fixed that, okay? That's my little side project. As soon as we get the College World Series, then we're going to be Duke good at basketball. That's what it is. Because here's the deal. Track, national championship. Soccer, probably going to win again this year. Softball's legit. Those things I really don't have to worry about. I'll just keep giving them what they ask for and what they need, and we'll go. The other ones,
they need help.
They need help. They need help. They need my, no, we're not doing that. That's a bad idea.
Just like slap him with a fly swatter.
Yes. No, like I might like get a squirt bottle, and every time Jerry goes like, I like this guy. He's got moxie.
He's just soaked up.
No. He's got a torn Achilles tendon, Jerry. We're not drafting him. You need guys who do not have torn Achilles tendons.
Yep.
Who do not need some sort of miraculous surgery to become this feel-good story. We're done with feel-good stories. We're about winning championships. So we're going to draft players who can run, players who can tackle, and players who can think, and players who are healthy, and that's who's going to help the Cowboys win. And if you already have 2 tight ends, you're not drafting a tight end in the second round.
You don't need another one.
You don't need another one. If you want another one, you can have one later. But in the second round, you're going to draft somebody who's going to start for you this year by the middle of the year.
Yep.
Your first round pick should be no more Mozzie Smiths. Your first round pick starts on day 1. That's what we do, whether it's the first pick or the 32nd pick.
Have they had a good pick, like a solid pick since Parsons? Diggs, maybe.
Trayvon, I think it's the same draft.
Yeah.
Or no, round before.
But I mean, like stud. Like Parsons is a dude.
No, they haven't. So, but that's what I would do. I'm like, look, we'll have other people who are smarter than me. Because again, here's what you want in any kind of leadership role. Mm-hmm. You would like to be one of the smartest guys in the room, but not the smartest guy in the room, because then the smartest guy in the room is like, oh man, he's pretty smart. He hired this smarter guy. Mm-hmm. No, I want a lot of people in the room.
Make you better.
Smarter guys. I mean, I've had bosses in the past that had to be the smartest guy in the room. Nobody here right now. No. But I had one in particular in the past. He had to be the smartest guy in the room. And if he was ever the smartest guy in the room, that's a room that's about to catch on fire.
It's a bad room.
Honestly, it's a room that's about to catch on fire. Like it's not a room of people who've read
many books.
Anything past the little engine that could. And even then, they're probably like got to page 3 and just lost interest. I don't know if he could or he couldn't.
I'll never know.
I'll never know. I'll never know. Did the guy ever eat the green eggs and ham? Lost interest. Who gives a crap about but bar? Boring. So, yeah, that's the kind of room you'd be in. That's what I would do as emperor of all my teams.
Okay.
The Spurs really don't need much of my help. I mean, like, they'll figure it out. But bottom line is, if I can get in the room with the Red Sox, the Cowboys, and Florida State,
you can change some things.
Oh, yeah. No hockey team really wants my help.
No.
I can tell good players from like mediocre ones when I'm watching, because we watch the Predators a lot.
Mediocre goalie.
Yeah, they're like, look, they had a really good team like 3 years ago when Amanda and I first started dating. Before we got engaged, the year before you got engaged, they were really good. 21, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
And then like they lost some guys, and then
they still got Forsberg, and they brought over Stamkos this year.
Yeah, so that looks like they're maybe getting a little bit better. But last year, she's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, well, they were playing the Lightning. We're watching a game, and I was like, well, you see the Lightning have all these guys that skate faster than them. And she's like, well, you're a hockey expert? I'm like, no, I'm just I can just see this guy skating, and then the other guy like trying to catch up.
They got like one good line. That's about it.
I see the other guy trying to catch up, and it feels like he's like, if I could just drop this stick, I could catch up with him. Like it's really heavy. I don't know how he's carrying the stick, and I'm back here.